Hello, everybody, my dear professionals. I hope you had a great weekend. It's Tracy Brown here this morning. And this week is going to be, I'm not going to call it intense. I just want to call it, working on these difficult topics kind of within ourselves and with our clients. And for our clients, these are pretty emotional topics and conversations that we want to have with them without making them wrong or bad for where they're starting from. Because we all started somewhere, right? We all started from, definitely if you're in any kind of health profession, you're taught, whether you know it or not, or they know they're teaching you or not, we all started with definitely some fat prejudice of most health concerns are caused by higher weight. And I learned that. I learned that educational wise, and I learned that as a kid, that you can't be happy if you're in a non-thin body. And so even as a person in a thin privileged body, I just assumed, I didn't think that was a lasting thing. I didn't really, at one time I did. As a kid, I remembered it was like a duh, well, some people are thin, some people are bigger, some people are tall, short, black, white, whatever. I just kind of, it was innocent, to be honest, and I wasn't taught differently. And then that started to change as I started to become, more aware of my own mother's and my own grandmother's chronic dieting, and really acutely aware of what their happiness, at least they presented it to be about, their body size. And I just started to recognize oh, you can't be happy unless you're thinner, because that's why they're so unhappy, and that's what they put their unhappiness on. And I thought, oh, okay, well, I guess I'm going to have to worry about that too, and that sucks, so I'm going to try to prevent that. And I just had that thought in my head from the time I was junior high on. I just had this assumption, I'm going to grow up and be like them, bigger and miserable, because that's all I knew. That's how they were in terms of their feelings of worth around and their ease in their bodies. I would say it related to other things too, by the way. So it's not just everything was perfect for them and it was just their body size they couldn't get past. That's not true at all. I definitely come from a very on both sides, traumatic, not so blessed circumstances on both sides. So it makes sense that there are other things at play as well. But I don't know about you all. I don't know if you can recognize the first time you learned about thinner is better and fatter is not. I was 8, and nothing was said at me, but just projected in the air around me on different body types. And so that's where that came from for me. So however our clients get there, personally, there's a romanticizing of thinness, and that's what we're going to talk about today. So I think it's really important. This is something I really always got from Janine Roth's work around the idea, there's these romanticizing of thinness, and these are some examples you can give with your clients is, so you can get thinner, and this is where doing pro-con lists are really important. I've talked about in past videos, but definitely have it in a lot of extensive training with it in my course around actually how to break it down, do it in session with a client. But there's this idea okay, once I get thinner, then everything's going to be easier, all my clothes will lay on me a certain way, and everything will be great. There's just a deep romanticization about it. And again, it's not that I'm going to say that there aren't things that are more accessible to people in a smaller body, basically, because that's true, totally is true, travel and chairs, places, and a list of things that we want to make sure that we honor in our clients' experiences. We have to do that. It's our obligation to do that. Not, if somebody says, finding clothes for the way my body proportions are at this size, really a pain in the butt. And I spent all weekend doing it. And, our clients get to the place where they're willing to do that because they value their own comfort more than collapsing under, this is hard, so what? Does it matter? Because I think our clients all go through stages of, I'm awful, blame myself, and then recognizing that we're all a part of this inequity around that, people being treated well, then they get mad, hopefully. And if they're not getting mad, we want to encourage that, like, your body's not the problem. This powers that be structure is the problem. And attitudes are the problem, not your body. And being rightfully upset about that and angry about that, and maybe grieving. And then some people are going to go back and forth. Okay, this is really hard. I don't want to grieve all this. I just want it to be easy. And I'm like, I hear ya. It's definitely not fair. But this is where your body is, and this is where it is right now for you to have whatever level of freedom you have, or they have. So, do we ignore the body because of the unfairness? Those are some things, conversations to be having very gently, of course. All these things I do are on the utmost, like love and care and gentleness, but being authentic and straightforward, with it as well. So there's all that, and that needs to be done, and also gently, but also helping our clients see where their romanticization again is around, like, if I just got smaller, everything would be magically perfect, and that's not true. I've seen it in my own, my own eating disorders. I saw it. Of course, with our clients, I see it. And I'm just thinking from the space of the women that raised me, is that they went on and off diets constantly. They got smaller bodies. All the problems they had didn't go away. And they all gained their weight back, of course. And not because they binged. I really don't come from a family of, like, eating disorders. Just people who had low self-esteem and felt that, like, they were, honestly, their words, like, gross and fat and ugly. That's what I grew up hearing, and, just so low self-esteem and part of the soup that we're all in. And they never stuck for diets longer than 6 months, and then they would go back to kind of like their habits, which was mostly normal-ish eating, sometimes with some checked out kind of non-attuned eating around, certain meals or events. And then, I'm pretty sure my mom had a little bit of emotional eating when she would, not at home. She never did it at home, but I think she did it at work. And so there's that. And all the things that contribute. So none of that changed, except for when they were dieting, there was more of a container around whatever it is that wasn't okay, internally or externally. They got smaller bodies. Nothing else really changed, though, except for there was a container around some of it. Like a distraction barrier in some way, So nothing really changed with their circumstances. That wasn't ever worked on or looked at. And so that's where you want to point out with our clients, like, I know you can get a smaller body. I know you can. You're pretty good at it. You could do that. But like Janine Roth says, but you still got bills to pay and relationships to try to maintain. And for you, I know you're here, so you're interested in going a little deeper around how all this got so outside of something that you could or wanted to manage in the first place. What is the root of this? Because dieting and it has never given you that answer. Otherwise, you've done the first diet, stayed smaller, and whatever's underneath would be addressed and done with, So that's how we want to, gently but transparently help them challenge, this worry that if they don't get thinner, that they can't be happier, things can't be better. And I'll leave you with this one last story for today, and then how I want you to work on applying some things today or this week. So make some notes if you're not already doing that. I had a client recently see Virgi Tovar speak, and what she was struck by with her talk is that, I asked her, well, what was it like for you to watch her, and what was your sense from her? And my client said, she's just so strong, and she knows that she knows that she knows the truth. That, she can be happy living her life with this body. And she knows that she knows and she knows the truth, that everything is conditioning, that she was taught that she's not supposed to like this body. She knows it. She knows in her bones. And she goes about her life, and she knows that she's got to face certain things. And that's what we want to help our clients know too, is that we're all going to face stuff. smaller bodies, bigger bodies, medium bodies, bodies that people would say that aren't proportioned or as abled or whatever. And some of these have different kinds. Some have very few obstacles, and some have a lot of obstacles. But we don't have to hate ourselves for them. You don't have to hate yourself for lack of obstacles. You don't have to hate yourself for, it seems like every day is an obstacle in certain things of functioning or resource, or leaving the house and worried about what people think of you. But you don't have to hate yourself for those. You don't have to love yourself for the body size you have. But where do we put our effort? Where do we put our emotional, our cognitive effort? Do we put it into taking care of the body we have, clothing it the best we can with the resources we have, and eating in a way that's the most supportive for the bodies we have with the resources we have? What's our choice with the energetic and emotional and mental resources we do have? And so that's where I try to help my clients. And I hope you use this information too to help your clients break free from the romanticization of thinness. That if I get there, no problems will be there. And of course, that's not so. And that's hard. It's a hard sell. Especially if you're a practitioner, a smaller body with a client who's not, you have to be careful with that. And I'm very respectful and careful. And I don't know how many times in a week I might talk about my own privilege just so, not as to make myself feel better, but just to make sure that my clients know that I'm aware, and that I'm not any kind of illusion that I don't have some. It's just that I'm not going to hate myself about that, and I know that I can help them is to the level that that I can earn their trust, if that makes sense. So I think that's it for today. This is a lot, so you might have to listen to this video or watch this video a couple times and take some notes, but I think it's a really important topic. And so every day this week, that's what we're going to be doing, is looking at, and I talk about pride a lot with some of my clients, especially the clients I know that some of my clients don't have much pride about stuff, but some of our clients do, and they are really nice, but I think that we also need to help them. This is down the road this week a little bit. This is a difficult topic to talk about, but we need to create a safe container for our clients that let some of that pride drop so they can feel the grief. And because really it's just shackling them into doing things they don't want to be doing, burning them out, and separating themselves really from the authentic relationship with themselves and others they want to be having. And so we do it as our job here through the language of food and body. So we're going to talk about that a lot this week too. So hope this video was helpful. Again, tell your friends that this is what we talk about here, and if it's been of value to you, which I want to make all these videos, all these resources, any other times that you all want to share some stuff, please do it. This is not just the all me radio station here. So I am going to be playing with having you all take charge, some weeks. And it doesn't have to be video. It can be something you wrote, something you feel is really valuable to have for people in session. Again, it's not just about me and all that, but I'm kind of here wanting to steer our ship with counseling skills here. So, but I welcome anybody else's. And if you feel like I'm missing a point or want to call me to something, please do, because I'm a big girl. I can handle it, and it's going to be good for all of us to be able to do that. So, all right, thank you so much, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.